Now at 6, the raging wildfire burning in and around Yosemite has the Bay Area on alert tonight as the flames move dangerously close to a key water reservoir.
Safeway is settling up the computer glitch that overcharged hundreds of customers at one store in the South Bay.
He nodded off behind the wheel, and the resulting crash killed his 2 daughters. Now the district attorney's office says the driver's drowsiness is actually criminal, the steep penalty a Bay Area father faces as he continues to deeply mourn the loss of his children.
Complete Bay Area news coverage starts right now. This is KTVU Channel 2 News at 6.
2 million Bay Area residents depend on the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir to deliver their drinking water. But tonight, that crucial water supply is at risk as the Rim wildfire burns one step ahead of firefighters. Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Somerville. And I'm Julie Hayner. Firefighters are waging a difficult fight tonight against that powerful Rim wildfire, which is now burning in Yosemite National Park. At this hour, the flames have consumed 105,000 acres, and the massive fire is only 2% contained. The steep terrain has made things extremely difficult for firefighters, and the dense, dry brush is fueling the flames that are raging through the Stanislaus National Forest and now the edge of Yosemite National Park. 4,500 structures are at risk, including hundreds of homes in Groveland and the Pine Mountain Lake community. More residents were advised to evacuate today. And here is the concern we face tonight. This map shows the edge of the fire, which has now spread into Yosemite National Park. And nearby, you can see just miles away, is the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir. That is the front line of the firefight for some crews trying to protect this crucial water source that serves a large swatch of the Bay Area. We have live team coverage tonight. KTVU's David Stevenson is in San Francisco, where water officials are tracking water levels and monitoring for contamination. But we begin with Robert Honda live in Tuolumne County with the fight to protect the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir. Robert.
Well, we are way up high in the Stanislaus National Forest, where we can show you how the Rim fire is spreading. As we reported during our 5 o'clock newscast, the fire has now headed into Yosemite National Park and toward Hetch Hetchy Reservoir. Crews have been setting so-called backfires, similar to this one today along Highway 120, to try to get rid of fuel in the path of the Rim fire. This afternoon, they used the Fighting Fire with Fire strategy along Evergreen Road to help protect San Francisco's main water supply, Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, inside Yosemite National Park.
Well, that reservoir is key, to the city of San Francisco and the water quality that we send there.
Along with the backfires, bulldozers were brought in to carve out more protective space. Officials say the fire has burned up more than 11,000 acres of the park, but is still at least several miles from the reservoir.
Well, you want to protect the structures as much as possible. Some of them are historic structures. All of them are important to the operation of the dam, and so we want to protect those structures.
But hour by hour, the flames and smoke just kept building up. And as you can see, the plume from the Rim fire became a huge looming presence and had firefighters concerned over whether the relentless fire can be stopped at the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir.
I've placed a lookout over in a safety zone who has eyes on us and the column to give us an idea as to when or if we need to pull out of here.
Again, so far we have not heard of any problems with the operation, though we were ordered out of the area as the backfires were being lit for safety concerns. We will have a full update tonight on our 10 o'clock news. Live near Yosemite, Robert Honda, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
The fire threat is creating worries about the water supply here that serves 2.6 million Bay Area residents. The Hetch Hetchy Reservoir delivers 275 million gallons of water a day to San Francisco and parts of Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Alameda counties. KTVU's David Stevenson spent the day with water officials who are keeping a very close eye on the supply and also the purity of the water. David?
Frank, utilities officials say the quality of the Hetch Hetchy water supply tonight remains safe. That could change, but they're also concerned about the hit that the city's power supply has taken because of the Rim fire. As crews release fire retardant chemicals on the Rim fire, San Francisco utilities officials said the water coming out of that region remains safe to drink.
And we don't see any degradation of water quality at this time. The quality of the water coming out of Hetch Hetchy Reservoir right now is the same quality as it was coming out before this fire started.
Engineers say the water's turbidity, or cloudiness, remains at levels before the fire broke out, a sign ash is not yet seriously affecting the supply that serves 2.6 million customers. Reservoirs are ready to fill in if the Hetch Hetchy flow is interrupted.
You know, we think the water system is going to be fine. We're more concerned that damage has been done to our power system. 2 of 3 San Francisco hydroelectric plants in the fire's region were shut down Monday. The system powers San Francisco municipal buildings, city lights, buses, and trains. 12.5 miles of power lines lay in the path of the fire. Utility officials say for now, they can only wait until whenever the fire dies down to get an up-close look at the damage. So we don't really know the condition of our above-ground facilities, mainly our electric transmission line.
And doing without those 2 hydroelectric plants has come at a cost. As we first revealed on Wednesday, since Monday, San Francisco has been paying PG&E $25,000 a day to make up in part for that power. Reporting live in San Francisco, David Stevenson, KTVU Channel 2 News.
California's Army National Guard from Moffett Field is fighting the rim fire from the air. And this is video that they gave us today of a Black Hawk helicopter as it drops water on the fire in Stanislaus National Forest near Yosemite on Wednesday. The pilots are members of the 129th Rescue Wing, some of whom recently returned from Afghanistan.
More than a dozen communities near Yosemite are under evacuation orders or advisories right now. Some of those larger areas include Pine Mountain Lake, Camp Mather, Berkeley Family Camp, and Buck Meadows. Authorities have set up an evacuation center at the Motherlode Fairgrounds in Sonora. And residents living in the Groveland area came to Fire Station Number 1 to check out maps with the fire lines and evacuation information. We talked with one woman who is struggling physically with the smoky air.
If it gets worse, I've got to go. I have to go. It's just it's a matter of life or death. So if we lose our home, we lose our home. And if we don't, God bless the firefighters.
Some evacuees told us they spent last night in their cars. There is still no word yet when those evacuation orders and advisories will be lifted. In less than an hour, a community meeting is scheduled to get underway in Groveland to update residents on that wildfire. Fire officials are expected to discuss plans for the coming days. Again, that meeting is set for 7 o'clock tonight at Tenaya Elementary School in Groveland.
Smoke from the rim fire is causing health problems 150 miles away in Nevada. The wildfire is creating hazy, smoky conditions in Reno, and that has prompted air quality officials to push the air quality index into the unhealthy red zone. Young people and the elderly are advised to avoid heavy exertion outside. And coming up in 11 minutes, our meteorologist Mark Tamayo tracking the plume of smoke that's coming up on weather radars, and he's also watching forecasts that bring a chance of lightning and rain to that fire zone. And KTVU has continuing coverage of the rim fire on air and online. Log on to KTVU.com for complete coverage, plus major developments on Twitter and Facebook.
Safeway has agreed to pay $46,000 in civil penalties for a computer glitch that overcharged hundreds of gas customers. The Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office says a sharp-eyed customer caught the overcharge. An estimated 700 other customers were also overbilled. The computer glitch appeared only at the Safeway gas station in Campbell on West Hamilton Avenue by the San Tomas Expressway. Safeway says that computer glitch has now been repaired.
New developments tonight in the labor battle between San Jose City Hall and police officers. The police chief is now offering an apology to his rank and file. It's a story we told you about earlier this week as letters were going back and forth in the dispute over pay raises for police. Some say that the police chief went too far. KTVU's Jade Hernandez live in San Jose tonight, where that chief is now taking a softer tone. Jade?
Well, that's right. The acting chief here at headquarters is trying to dispel any intimidation rumors. In a letter he wrote the department, he assures officers there will be no backlash for notes sent to city leaders regarding contract negotiations. As the city and the Police Officers Association union continue to haggle, it's residents and business owners who just want more protection on the street. However, they get it.
It's kind of part of the theater, I would say.
A San Jose police helicopter hovered above in the sky. Another workday that went by without any progress between police and the city.
It's tough to negotiate if you're not actually sitting down and talking.
Albeit not at a bargaining table, San Jose Police Officer Association's Jim Unlin sat and listened to the city's mayor on talk radio today.
We're trying to give them money. We put it on the table. There are no strings attached.
The Police Officers Association says not true. Unlin points to the city's latest proposal, which includes a reopener clause.
If they lose Measure B in the trials at the end of this year, they want to be able to force us back to the negotiations table and into arbitration over that. We will not agree to that language.
Almost a month ago, an officer-involved chase sped through 11th and East Santa Clara, ending only after the squad car, after a parolee slammed into a tree nearby.
Many crimes is happening around this area.
The owner of Savings Mini Mart does what he can to protect himself, which is why he wanted to hide his identity.
By the time that the respond is here, the crime is already done.
The city spokesman knows there's frustration.
It's been months since we sat down at the table, so we can get back to it next week. That would be terrific.
As for the letter that the city sent the police officers union today, the union told me just about 30 minutes ago it plans to respond by Monday. Reporting live in San Jose tonight, Jade Hernandez, KTVU Channel 2 News.
A judge ordered a Fremont man today to the Napa State Hospital for running down a pedestrian in 2006. 36-year-old Omid Papal pleaded guilty to first-degree murder last month for using his SUV to hit and kill 54-year-old Stephen J. Wilson as he walked on Fremont Boulevard. The judge said he made his decision based on reports from 4 psychiatrists who said Papal was mentally ill. After Papal ran down Wilson in Fremont, he headed to San Francisco, where he plowed through another 16 people. No one was killed, but they all suffered injuries. A judge declared Papal insane and sent him to Napa State Hospital for that incident as well.
Newly released 911 tapes of an officer-involved shooting in Hayward seem to back up officers' account of what happened. Donnie Simmons Jr. was shot to death by officers August 14th. Officers say he lunged at them with a knife, but his family argued that he was unarmed. Today, KTVU obtained the heartbreaking 911 tapes and listened to them. Simmons' 11-year-old daughter was the one who called 911. She clearly states that her father had a knife and was threatening her mother. In fact, at one point, the little girl tells the 911 operator, quote, "He's grabbing a knife. He's going to stab my mom." You can then hear police enter the apartment and open fire. We have decided not to air that tape because of the disturbing nature of the events.
A father charged in an accident that killed his daughters.
If you drive when you're extremely sleepy, it's almost like driving under the influence of alcohol.
Coming up, what his wife told us about his nightmares.
Then you'll never guess the luxury car that's outselling Porsche in California, the ride that's growing in popularity, and how the Bay Area could benefit.
And the weekend is just hours away, and so are some weather changes. What to expect Saturday morning and into your weekend.
New at 6, a Bay Area father still haunted by the deaths of his 2 daughters, now facing possible jail time for the car crash that killed them. It's a rare legal move to prosecute a person for driving while drowsy, but some say it's necessary to raise awareness about a largely unrecognized risk on the road. KTVU's Rob Roth is in Palo Alto tonight and tells us fatigue is a key component in this case. Rob?
Frank, the accident along Highway 101 here in Palo Alto cost a San Bruno father the lives of 2 of his daughters. He'd apparently dozed off behind the wheel. Now the Santa Clara District Attorney is charging him with vehicular manslaughter, while the man's wife told us today he is still very much grief-stricken. The Santa Clara County Deputy District Attorney says Arvin Tandell was drowsy when he crashed the family SUV into a highway patrol car on the shoulder of Highway 101 near the Embarcadero exit. They were heading home from a Black Friday shopping trip last November. And the DA says that his adult daughters, Nisha and Chital, were not wearing seatbelts. The deputy DA says that is why he's being charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor vehicular manslaughter.
He has certainly suffered more punishment than the law could ever impose, but there's also a public safety issue that we just can't ignore.
Tandell's wife, Yogita, told us off camera he's still mourning the loss of his daughters. She said at night he still screams for them. And about the DA's decision to file criminal charges, she said, "I think he has suffered enough already."
the harm to the officer, the harm to the other motorist, the potential harm to the public is something that we can't ignore.
Defense attorney and former prosecutor Stephen Clark says proving a driver was sleepy is difficult.
How do you know when you have had enough sleep to safely operate a vehicle? That's a very difficult thing for the average person to know.
The deputy DA says there needs to be more awareness that drivers should pull over when they feel tired.
If you drive when you're extremely sleepy, it's almost like driving under the influence of alcohol.
If convicted, Tandell could face up to a year in jail on each count, but the deputy DA says they're not out to punish him and that he probably wouldn't have to spend any time in custody. Reporting live in Palo Alto, Rob Roth, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
The Oakland Police Department will conduct a large search tomorrow for missing toddler Daphne Webb. Daphne's father reported his 22-month-old daughter missing back on July 10th. He says she was taken from his car when he went into a corner store to buy something to drink. Today, police and the FBI announced a tip is prompting tomorrow's search with more than 50 personnel and equipment. Also, the reward for information has now doubled to $20,000.
A judge has sentenced a former employee of a convent in Los Gatos to 14 months in prison for embezzlement. Prosecutors say 65-year-old Linda Gomez, formerly of Sunnyvale, stole more than $100,000 from the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary Catholic Convent. They say that Gomez used the money to buy jewelry, purses, shoes, and kitchen appliances. The judge also ordered Gomez to pay $110,000 in restitution.
The U.S. Labor Department says it is holding off on a decision whether to strip billions of mass transit dollars from California. Labor officials are in talks with Governor Jerry Brown. They claim the state's new pension law violates a federal statute tying funds to collective bargaining rights. Transit agencies across the state are expecting to receive $1.6 billion in federal funds this year alone. BART is expanding its reserved parking lot at its North Concord station because of increased demand. The reserved parking area is available to customers who buy permits online and in advance.
Well, the good news just keeps on rolling in for Palo Alto-based Tesla Motors. On the heels of outstanding reviews of performance and safety, now comes word the all-electric Model S is outselling a number of other automakers in California. The survey from the California New Car Dealers Association showed Tesla outsold Cadillac, Chrysler, and Porsche in light-duty vehicle sales during the first half of the year. Overall, the Model S accounted for 0.6% of total vehicle sales in the state.
Fire crews in San Francisco left the city today, headed for the Rim wildfire in Yosemite. 5 engine companies with a total of 20 firefighters loaded up their rigs and headed east. Firefighters were briefed about the dangerous conditions they'll be facing. KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo has the latest now on what those crews are up against. Mark?
Julie, when those fire crews arrive, they will encounter some very extreme terrain, dangerous and probably some areas they can't even reach, and that has been a key factor in trying to fight this fire. On Live Storm Tracker 2 earlier today, you can see that with the heating of the day, the smoke basically becoming a little bit more expansive on the satellite here, and even the radar detecting some activity as well. So here's the trail of the smoke moving all the way into Nevada earlier this afternoon and into the evening hours. As far as the fire, we were talking about the extreme terrain. We'll come in really tight here and show you the river canyons, and this is where the fire has really been growing in size, of course approaching the Hetch Hetchy over the past 24 hours. Current weather conditions basically in the low 80s, 83 degrees, winds out of the south at 9 miles an hour, very dry, humidity levels right around 22%. We have been tracking the chance of a few showers, but this forecast model really backing off on those chances. Tomorrow completely dry, no changes, and then we'll take this into Sunday and Sunday night and into Monday. You'll see some activity on the bottom right portion of your screen. All of that is to the south of Yosemite, but if this does approach or change, that could play a role in the fire, maybe producing a few showers or even possibly some lightning strikes. Of course, that would not be good news with more lightning strikes, but something we'll keep an eye on. For tonight, fog increases here in the Bay Area, a bit of a breeze out there. This weekend, no major changes. Morning overcast, skies becoming partly sunny, and then temperatures do cool off a little bit in the extended forecast. Overnight lows will be in the low to mid 50s for Santa Rosa, San Jose 57, and Livermore starting out Saturday morning in the right around 56 degrees. This area of low pressure moves in just a little bit. It's a weak guide, but strong enough to increase the marine layer, so lots of low clouds and fog. Skies becoming partly sunny. sunny for the afternoon hours. Wind speeds do bump up around 10 to 25 miles an hour. No major heat in the forecast. The warmest locations tomorrow on track to reach the mid, possibly the upper 80s. Here's our forecast model tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Definitely cloudy at the coast. Some patches over the bay even at 9 o'clock, and even inland. Clouds pull back to near the shoreline for the afternoon hours by 4 o'clock. So these numbers for tomorrow about the same as today. Could be a little bit cooler in a few spots. Santa Rosa will go with 80 degrees. Novato in the upper 70s at 79. Right around the rim of the bay, mid to upper 60s. And head over the hills, you'll find some more 80s out toward Antioch and Brentwood. San Jose mid 70s. Fremont 74. In San Francisco, some clouds in the morning and leftover patches for the afternoon hours. Here is a look ahead. Your 5-day forecast will shave off a few degrees on a Sunday with your weekend always in view, and then just a little bit of a bump in the numbers by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But the key here, no major heat in that forecast, really no 90s out there, and the weekend looking pretty good, but near the bay, near the coast, could be a bit chilly out there.
Not as steady as she goes.
Yeah, looks good.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Coming up on Bay Area News at 7 on TV 36, the impact of the Sierra's rim fire on Bay Area fire departments.
It's a good day for a car wash for these firefighters. How their jobs and their lives are significantly more challenging because of the Yosemite fire.
And the mystery behind what triggered evacuations today at one building along San Francisco's Van Ness corridor. Join us at 7 on TV 36.
Helping men learn to be fathers. We're going to show you a unique new program and tell you why it is so needed. An East Bay nonprofit launched a new effort today to reach out to fathers from all walks of life. First 5 Alameda County unveiled its Father Corps program. It trains caseworkers on how to help fathers with things like parenting advice and counseling referrals. The program's CEO says fathers are currently underserved in Alameda County.
So many of our programs are dedicated to mothers who are absolutely crucial and important, but families need fathers, children need fathers, and they need fathers to be totally present in their lives.
First 5 hopes to reach thousands of fathers throughout the county.
Well, Mark came bopping in during the break and said, hey, this A's game's a good one.
Yeah, definitely, and they need to string together several good ones, and apparently, if you go by the first 5 innings or so, the A's did pack their bats, and the trip to Baltimore off to a nice start. 3rd inning, Coco had homered, and Brandon Moss soon after follows with a solo shot. Bud Norris, who hails from up in Novato, 3-0 lead. However, O's strike back in the 4th, 6 runs. The big blow provided by Brian Roberts off Dan Straley. Grand slam, 6-5. But the A's in their top 5 come through, bases loaded. It's not a grand slam, but they got a little nerd power there. Eric Sogard, little looper to right, scores a pair, and there we are. 6th inning, the A's on top, 7-6. Can it get worse for the Giants? It seems the answer is always yes. Last night, Matt Cain drilled by a line drive off the bat of the Pirates. Gabby Sanchez, x-rays proved negative. He has a contusion on his right or throwing arm. He's on the disabled list, and it is doubtful. You know, really, if you think about it, they've got about $100 million invested in him if he may even pitch again the rest of the year. All right, the Warriors taking a flyer on why not? The brother of Steph Curry. Seth Curry. That must have been a great household when they were kids. Not to be confused with his brother. It's a non-guaranteed deal. He comes out of Duke, dead-eye shooter. He's had some injury issues, and why not take a chance with him? If he's anything like his brother, that's a good deal.
Steph and
Seth and Steph.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Can imagine a mom running through the house with Steph
Watch
and
you
Steph.
say that. That's good fun.
All right,
thanks, Mark.
Well, you've heard of bans on soda and sugary drinks. Coming up tonight on the 10 o'clock news, some places in the South Bay are now trying to ban another popular drink that many people consider healthy.
And we're always here for you at KTVU.com and mobile KTVU. We'll see you at 10. Night.